Hello, my name is Matt Blackburn, and you are watching Divine Superconductor TV. Today I am speaking on Lipofuscin. This is a chronic, debilitating disease that isn't talked about. I have been in the health industry for a decade now, and I have never heard anyone talking about this very, very serious condition that is pretty much terminal. It's chronic, it's very debilitating, it is the primary cause of aging. And it's caused by omega-3 fatty acids, in particular, highly unsaturated fatty acids. So that is DHA, EPA, and ALA. What this does is actually cakes up the lysosomes in the mitochondria. Look up what the lysosomes do. It gums up energy production, so the cell can actually not perform what's called cellular respiration, actually can't oxidize glucose. The cell is forced via the Randle cycle, thank you PJ Randle, to oxidize free fatty acids instead of sugar. And when that happens, we actually generate more lactic acid instead of pyruvic acid, and that's a hallmark of cancer. Thank you, Otto Warburg. This is all old research. It's not like, show me the study, you're making this up. This was done in the early 1900s, the late 1800s. People have known about Lipofuscin for just about as long as organic biochemistry has existed. So we're talking about the 1860s. So progressive lipofuscinosis, liver spots, age spots, it's all pretty much the same thing. And it's a plastic-like polymer that's formed from, well, omega-3s is the biggest offender, but it's this cross-linking. People talk about advanced glycation end products, and sugar is the devil, and it's sugar that binds to protein. No, it's actually fat that binds to protein and ages us. It creates advanced glycation product related inflammatory fibrosis. It's the fats. But is it the fat in meat? Is it the fat in dairy? No, it's the vegetable oils that were made popular by George and Mildred Burr from their faulty research, because we had not discovered B vitamins yet, and we didn't discover zinc yet, and selenium and all these trace minerals. So all they were doing was chemo. That's what DHA does. It's chemotherapy. Shuts down the immune system, suppresses the immune system, and that's the benefit. If you want to get the same benefits, just go have chemotherapy instead of spending $60 on a DHA supplement. Same exact thing. These are lipoproteins. They're plastic-like polymers. It's a plastic material. It's like calcification. So calcification is caused by magnesium deficiency, K2 deficiency, and the body starts shuttling calcium into the soft tissues, like the pineal gland we always hear about. But not only that, the pituitary, the thyroid, the hippocampus, all of it. And these are the master regulators of the body. The biggest issue with Lipofuscin is it accumulates in the liver. And the liver is trending right now. Celery juice doesn't help the liver whatsoever. But you know what does help the liver? Meat, dairy, eggs, cheese, all of these quote-unquote mucus and acid-forming foods. That's all BS, because the real issue is when the liver gets non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or cirrhosis is another way to put it. The liver cannot perform its 500 plus functions, the most important of which is arguably converting T4 thyroid hormone, inactive, into active thyroid hormone, which is T3. Doesn't happen in the thyroid gland. It happens 90% in the liver. And so what do you think happens if your liver is gummed up with omega-3s, with highly unsaturated fatty acids? Because those are the worst offenders. Omega-6 does it too, just not to the degree that DHA, EPA, and ALA does. Those are the worst. The agricultural industry actually even tricks the farmers feeding their chicken, because the difference between alpha linoleic acid and alpha-linolenic acid is an L, and one's way cheaper than the other. You guess which one it is. You're right, you guessed right, it's omega-3. So these make animals fat, they make humans fat, they cause cancer, they cause diabetes. And the mechanism behind it is very simple. You shut down the liver function, you shut down thyroid hormone conversion. And this isn't hypothyroidism. It's not about the thyroid. You can't convert thyroid hormone. When you can't convert thyroid hormone, you can't make energy in the cell. This is the primary way that we actually generate ATP in the cell. It's with T3. That's tyrosine bound to iodine. But it's not about even supplementing those. It's about improving the efficiency of the liver, and that's through animal products. That's through these trace minerals that are almost impossible to find in plant foods in high amounts. And we're talking about copper, zinc, and selenium. Those are the major ones. Scary thing about lipofuscin is with a stressed, aka intermittent fasting, or a caloric restriction diet, and then you're living on legumes, soy, grains, these are all the high PUFA foods, or nuts and seeds, or all of it. Let's just say you're a vegan and you're fasting and you're caloric restricting, which is stressing the body, because when you're fasting, the body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline. And then let's say that you don't know about the fertilizer that was switched to NPK, and now you have iron overload. Iron is like handing lipofuscin a machine gun, and it makes it a lot more toxic. You know what else makes lipofuscin spread? And it's spread, I mean, it's like a disease. One cell's here that's infected with lipofuscin, cells here, it just moves right over and infects the other one. Certain things that speed that up, namely iron, ultraviolet light, cold therapy. Sounds like all the stuff that's going on in the biohacking community, but the people that are doing it right are not restricting animal foods. Really, it's about displacing the unsaturated fat in the tissue. That's the focus. That's the solution. It's not about buying this supplement or that supplement, just eating more animal foods. There are nutrients that are only found in animal foods that you cannot find in plant foods. That's just a fact. The main one being protein, amino acids. And protein powders don't cut it. I don't care how well absorbed they are. We cannot recreate what God made in a lab. It's not possible. Meat, cheese, eggs, grass-fed red meat, bison, elk, deer, beef. These are all very, very good foods, and they actually allow us to make stomach acid, and they provide B vitamins, and they provide saturated fat. And that saturated fat over time, because our body will preferentially burn in a fasted state saturated fat instead of unsaturated fat. And so what do you think if you're restricting saturated fat and you're on a vegan diet and you're megadosing PUFAs and you're stressed, you live in the city, you're fasting, you're vegan, that ages you a lot faster. So the solution is include some dairy, include some eggs, include some raw milk, include some meat. That's going to start to shift the ratio in your tissues from unsaturated, toxic, poisonous fats that oxidize with what? Light, heat, and oxygen. That's our blood. You can take the most pure oil, extract it right from the fish, the krill, the algae, I don't care what it is, seal. Doesn't matter if it's fresh, refrigerated, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it has antioxidants in there. Once it hits your bloodstream, 98.6, it oxidizes. And that's really the key. So if you take anything from this video, it's eat animal products and do not, under any circumstance, for the rest of your life, supplement omega-3 supplements. They are the worst possible thing for your health, and they do cause disease. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I just launched a podcast. I would really appreciate it if you head over there and have a listen. That is Divine Superconductor Radio. And pertinent to this topic, check out Adam Bergstrom, that interview called The Unsaturated Fat Conspiracy, where we delve into it. He's written 8 books on yellow fat disease. aka Lipofuscin. He's to me the world's expert on lipofuscinosis. This is an unspoken epidemic, and yes, it is the cause of almost every disease